This is our people. You know, my friends, Elie Wiesel once said that the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. The opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy. And the worst thing that possibly could be is if we are indifferent about what's going on with our fellow Jews, our fellow human beings, who were slaughtered like the sheep. In Pittsburgh, a very, very peace-loving, beautiful little city, nice Jewish community that get along with their neighbors. I have the merit, the zechut of having my children living there in Pittsburgh, so I have it firsthand. My mechatonim live there in Pittsburgh, my grandchildren live in Pittsburgh, and so I feel very, very close. I know some of you here also have family there. And so it's very, very disturbing that exactly 80 years after Kristallnacht, when they went around and broke our shuls and broke the windows in the shuls and went in and desecrated our Torahs and our houses of worship, we, the Jewish people, have to deal with this again. Where they break into our shul, a holy site, a place where Jews come together as family to worship. And they come in, not just, they don't murder people, young people, they go in there and murder our elderly, our older people. The Torah tells us about Amalek, the arch enemy of the Jewish people, who embodied evil. It says about Amalek, they attacked the Jewish people, it says, from the back. Because that's where the young people and the elderly were in the back of the camp. So they came in the back to get a hold of the frail people. So this fellow, this monster, came into a synagogue Shabbos morning when we were all here praying in our shul. Could you imagine? We can't even understand what that means. We were just sitting and praying here in this room yesterday, same time. And it wasn't just the regular people that come to shul. It was the pious people who come early to shul. This happened 9:45. Services usually start around 9 o'clock. And so the people, the pious people that were there, that came to the synagogue, the chazan, the shamish, the people, the people who a synagogue relies on. And he came in cold blood. He went to one, they have a few minions there. He went to one minion and murdered people there, went to another group, murdered people there. And they went after old people. Listen to the names. People 90 years old, 80 years old. They couldn't even run for their lives. They were all Zaydis and Bubbies, you know. You hear now about it. These are the patriarchs of the family. People that are the role models for their families. And this guy came in and and told the police he wants to kill all of the Jews. So what can we say? What we as a community can say, we live in a very frightening time. Unfortunately, on the street, it's not just, you know, an episode like this doesn't just happen. It comes with people who are instigating these kind of things. And there are people from all over that are instigating it, from the right and from the left, are instigating a new anti-Semitism that exists in our world today. The chief rabbi of Israel, the former chief rabbi, Rabbi Meir, said today that what's going on today reminds him of the 1930s. He was the youngest survivor of the Holocaust. He says what's going on now, it reminds him of the 1930s. This is what was going on in those years. And so we live in very, very trying times, frightening times, where anti-Semitism is rearing its ugly head. And we need to stamp it out. We need to be strong. Thank God at least the governments that we know are very different than in those days. The governments are still very, very strong and standing up strong. The Canadian government immediately sent police to all the synagogues. We had police that arrived here for the Kiddush, JFK just for Kiddush. They came here, and they were standing here. They came outside to our synagogue and many other synagogues they came to. So this is something that the Canadian government is standing up for us, and they promise us that they will watch over the Jewish community, watch over all of us. But this is a terrible evil that we need to deal with. In anti-Semitism, we know the anti-Semitism of today is anti-Israel. You know, the anti-Semitism is like, it morphs itself into different things in every generation. In one generation it was, you know, anti the rich Jews. Another generation was anti the poor Jews. In another generation it was anti the religious Jews. In another generation it was anti the secular Jews. And in this generation it's suddenly anti-Israel. It's always the same thing. It's the same creature. It just puts on different masks, like Purim. It just puts on, goes on one mask, another mask. It's the same exact thing. It's the oldest hatred in the history of the world. And so we stand in solidarity with our fellow Jews. That's most important. We don't have explanations. We don't know why these things happen. This is one of the biggest mysteries of the history of the world, but we stand in solidarity. And we promise the Jews in Pittsburgh and the Jews around the world that we will stand together with them, because they're our brothers and sisters. They're our family. There's one family there. We just had here a guest speaker here, Dr. Esther Libman, who was a speaker at the women's program last week. She spoke for many of the women. They had the women's spa program. She spoke here, Dr. Esther Libman. Her sister-in-law was one of the, Dr. Bob Libman's sister was one of the people that were all connected. It's all related. We're all one family. And it's only coming out who and what and when and who's related to who. So they came after the old people. They came after the guy came after the special needs. Two of the fellows that were there are people that have developmental issues. Can you imagine such evil? Old people, the bobbies, the zaydis. It's a hatred that we can't begin to understand. On a Shabbos that was so important to us, the Jewish people around the world were keeping Shabbos project everywhere. Rabbi say we stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters there. We're going to take upon ourselves to do mitzvahs, to be stronger. The Rebbe used to say many times that whatever this tragedy, what we have to do is we have to become better and stronger. We should never give in. I think it was quoted as a posthumous victory. We shouldn't give, not only a posthumous, we shouldn't give our victory to the murderers by caving in. We need to be stronger. We need to come to shul more. We need to do more mitzvahs. We need to stand up for those old people who came with the last strength to come to shul to daven. Let's promise that we won't just have old people at the shul. We'll have young people that come on time at 9 o'clock. We need to give ourselves a dedicate. These are our frontline people. We need to be in solidarity with them. We love them. We care for them.